Okay, here we are again, guys, back again, and this time we're going to be looking at our aged payables in Xero. So that is looking at the amounts that we need to be paying to our suppliers. So we're just basically going through the process. We've created our purchase orders, we've sent them off, our goods have been delivered, we've received our bills from our suppliers, matched them to our purchase orders, enter the bills in the system, made sure that we've got due dates in there so that we can actually go into the system to see who needs to be paid and by when. So let's look at the two ways we can do that. First of all, I'll come to our purchases overview command center because we should be getting really familiar with that by now. Our purchase orders down the bottom, they don't come into it. So let's have a look at our bills. We've got our draft bills, obviously still in draft, so they're not going to be due. Over here in the awaiting payment tab, we see we've got 15 bills which are awaiting to be paid for a total of $13,082. Of those 15, 12 are overdue to the total of $9,925. So that's already just a quick glance at saying, gee, we owe $9,900, that needs to be paid. That's part of our cash outflow. Click on the awaiting payment tab and then we drill down into the detail, and it itemises all the invoices, gives us the due dates, the ones which are overdue highlighted in red. A quick glance makes it nice and easy to see. We can see for this one, Central Copiers, we've actually paid $900 of it, only $163 is overdue. The rest of them, the full amount is overdue. David Jones has been overdue from the February last year, so obviously there's an issue there. And then we have our current ones down here. We can change the way we view that by clicking on the due date. And then we can see that keeps jumping down. There, we bring that up again. Then we can see our, most the ones that are sort of due at the latest date, if you like. March one's not yet due, and we can sort of sort it that way. Not a terribly handy way. One would normally just do it this way so that we see the oldest one first. That tells us what's due. This is the screen we will come to when we start making our payments, because over here we'll go, maybe we should finally pay David Jones. We'll pay the balance of our Central Copiers bill. We may not be able to pay the full $9,900, so we'd go through here and we'd select the ones which we particularly want to pay, and we'd start to raise a payment here. But before we do that, we also then, as well as looking at this screen, actually need to have a look at our aged payables report, because this gives us dates, but we'd sort of need to calculate how far overdue our bills are based on when they were due and based on our credit terms. So the better way to look at that is by using our aged payables report. So I'm scrolling up to come to the accounting menu up here, clicking on there and selecting reports. Once I'm in the reports screen, you'll see there's a group of reports related to our purchases, so therefore to our bills. Aged payables detail and aged payables summary. And we're going to focus on the summary. If I click on more reports, you'll see there's an older or a different format of the aged payables. Xero are constantly updating things, so we're going to stick with the new one. And I'm just going to concentrate on the summary. Okay, first thing we can do is we can age our payables, if you like, as at a particular date. So doing it as of the 2nd of March is not totally useful. We would probably do it, as at the end of the month. So let's do it Friday, the 28th of February, and update that. And so this is telling us as at Friday's date. You can see this amount's actually changed. Our total payables was 13,000 odd. As soon as I change the date though, it says, well, actually as at that date, you only owed 12,000, of which 2,100, David Jones, we knew that. $2,163 is a month overdue. $4,651 is less than a month overdue, and $3,177 is current, not yet due to be paid. Now, from an accounts payable management perspective, this report gives us a better view, because we can look at this and go, all right, we want to pay our oldest or our most outstanding amounts first. So let's clear the 2,163 and that 2,100 there. And we'll worry about the ones which are less than a month overdue a little bit later, because we might be waiting for money to come in from our receivables, and then we can pay that. So that's the first thing we can use in this report. The other thing I want to show you with this then though is the report customizations. Traditionally speaking, most accounting software packages will bring up the reports in months because most credit terms tend to be 30 days. However, you'll see with our example, we've been using 7 days, 14 days, so we can actually change these settings by clicking up here on report settings. We can change how we age by, although not terribly helpful. We could show it by when the invoice was actually created or the bill. As I said, not particularly useful, so we'll stay with the due date. We can change the number of periods. We'll see across the top here. So at the moment we're seeing 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the current. We could change that to 5. So for the purpose of the exercise, I'll do that. And we can change it from either months to weeks or days. So let's have a look what it looks like in weeks. So if I change it to weeks and update, the report then is going to show me, there's 162, which is 2 weeks overdue, 43, which is only 1 week overdue, 132 less, but 4,200, which is more than 4 weeks, which is obviously over a month. In this scenario, it won't sort of be terribly useful because the aging will have been done based on the monthly credit terms. In your Fatimas, it'll look slightly different. Let's have a look what it looks like if I change it to days. It's going to look much the same, but I'll push it up to showing me every 7 days. And you can see that it actually says 1 to 7, 8 to 14, etc. As I said, it's going to look much the same as the weekly one. So there's ways we can make the reports really work for our own credit terms and what best suits our business needs and how we want to see, how far we're going to allow amounts to become overdue before we actually generate a payment to a supplier. So that's our aged payables report. From here we can, down the bottom right, save as a draft, published or a custom if we want to keep that settings, and we can export it to PDF or we can export it to Excel, play with the figures, email it to someone as a PDF or an Excel, or we can even save it to Google Sheets. So lots of flexibility around how we can work with these reports and share them. If we're finished with it here, then we might just jump out of the report, go back to our our purchases overview, or just continue with any other way. So jump into your file, have a play with that, and as I said, when we get down to paying our bills, we'll jump back in here a bit later and have a look at creating that batch payment through this awaiting payment tab. So that's it for now. Bye.